two-way contingency table. So this two-way contingency table, there are specific ways of dealing with this two-way contingency table. So the one way to deal with the two-way contingency table is to remember how easy it is. So a two-way contingency table, right? Numbers going downwards, they add up, and then numbers going to the side, they also add up, as you may already know. Because, for example, going downwards here, right? Or rather, this is the question. All the students in a certain college undergo annual HIV testing. And it says here, the results of this year's testing are shown in the table below. Wow, it's terrible. But anyways, the idea here is going downwards, the numbers add up to 100, to 192. Same here, all these numbers going downwards add up. Same here, all these numbers going down add up. So if you see that there are too many unknowns here, you want to keep in mind the second thing that is going to be true. The second thing that is definitely always true about these kinds of questions is that going to the right side, it will always add up to B. Going to the right side, it will always add up to C. Going to the right side, it will always add up to 960. So, knowing that, right, if they're going to ask us here how many students are there at the college, the idea is when they're asking the total number of people at the college, the one thing you can remember is, okay, fine, this is the total number of HIV positive, this is the total number of HIV, this is positive, this is negative. So this number plus this number gives you the total. You see, so they're asking how many students are in the college, there's 900. Because however many they are, at least this I already know, at least these two we already know. Filling in the rest is going to be a piece of cake. So when you need to get A, B, C, D, and E, you can see it's just calculator work. And you can imagine this is calculator work for a good 5 marks in the bank. It's great. You know, so 5%.
I get why it's calculator work, but then like, would I be wrong to just wanna be like 106 minus 192 or whatever to get A?
Well, yeah. 192 minus this gives you A.
So I wouldn't be wrong to want to do that.
No, you wouldn't be wrong. You would be right. So what else are you getting for A?
Oh, I bet. I need to minus 86.
86. Yeah, that makes sense because 86 plus 6 is like 92. Yes. And then now this is where you need to get creative because remember we said from left going to the right, we need to add from going top and bottom. We have to add. So what's the next one here and how do we get it?
Yeah. Well, that one, ooh. But that one I actually wanted to say, wait, no, you're not wrong.
So the next blunt one here is going to be B because you know that whatever 106 is plus this 42 is going to give you this total.
Oh,
so
yeah. I was supposed to D,
right,
my bad.
going down, you add or something. So
106 plus 42. 528. Is that supposed to be a 5?
No. So once you have that right, you can see getting C is clearly the next best one because 960. Yeah, 960 minus the 528 there. What does it give you?
432.
Oh yeah. And then here you can have this and this, right? So you can get D. Because you can now say this is the total the 86. You have whatever day is.
346.
Again. Oh, 346. Oh, that sounds like we were saying the same thing. Oh, shucks. Yes.
No.
Pardon?
No, that's not what I was saying. So it's 768 for E.
768.
Mhm.
768. 768. Let me write it out. 768. Where is this thing? Which one is that for?
E.
768. Okay. Okay, that's fine. It is all good. So you're saying you got 768.
Yeah.
Okay. And then yeah, so that's how you get all these numbers, A, B, C, and D. You get it now?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So with the next one, let's see what the next one says over there. Let's see what the next one says over there. What do I need? What do I need? Let me do this. Where the next one says, is HIV status independent of gender at this college? Motivate your answer with relevant calculations. You see now they're talking about those words we spoke about, independent. So they're asking you if this, if for example, the events in this scenario are independent events. So before overthinking it and before worrying about how weird the wording is, just crazy and strange, right? Without worrying about that, what you need to do is you need to remember that for independent events, the probability of A and the probability of B, this is going to be equal to the probability of A multiplied by the probability of B. This is for independent events. If events are going to be independent, then it means that the probability of one of them multiplied by the probability of the other one should give you the probability of A and B. So if they're going to ask something like, is HIV status independent of gender? What you do is you pick out the probability of being, let's say, male, right? And you then pick out the probability of, let's say, being HIV positive. And then what you do is you put this number, you put the, you get, okay, so you pick out, let's say, the probability of being male, right? And then you pick out the probability of being HIV positive. And then you also pick out the probability of being male and being HIV positive. So you have to get these three numbers from your table. Once you get these three numbers from your table, you just check if they balance out this equation, you see. Because for mutually explicit, for independent events, if HIV status is independent of gender, it means that the probability of A and being positive should be equal to the probability of M multiplied by the probability of being positive. So meaning in your table, you can check for yourself, the probability of being male, right? It is going to be 528 out of 960. Because remember we said the probability of anything is always the specific scenario that they're talking about divided by the total. So we can think to ourselves, how many people do we have? It's 960, so that goes down there. How many males do we have? That's 520. So that goes up there, you see. So this is the probability of being male. The probability of being HIV positive, we can see the total people that are HIV positive, it's 192 out of a total of 960 people. So this is the probability of being HIV positive, you see, because you're going to take everyone that's HIV positive, and then you're going to divide it by 960. And then now the probability of being male and being HIV positive. That scenario, right, is it's this column here. It's this row or this cell. The probability of being male and being HIV positive, it's just 106 divided by 960. So you just want to check if this equation balances out if these numbers balance the equation. So you check for yourself the probability of M multiplied by the probability of H. You just see what this gives you. 528, 960 times 192 and 960. What does this give you in the calculator? Do you know? Do you know that way?
Give me a second. 192.
Okay, let me also put in the calculator.
97 over 800. What?
97 over 800.
That's a big number.
Well, the thing is 97 over 800 is
Well, a
not too
fraction
far-fetched.
anyways.
Yeah,
But you know what I
it's
mean.
not too far-fetched from the kinds of numbers we're dealing with. But because it's not equal to the 106 over 960, you can say no. The events are not independent events. See, that's what you can give as a conclusion. So based on the question, this is what you can say, and it'll be good enough. And then you'll be able to like move on with your life, basically. So do you see where you use this kind of that kind of a formula and how you use it?